Salah's future thrown into doubt. A shock claim emerges from Egypt. The future of Mohamed Salah at Liverpool has once again been plunged into uncertainty, as fresh reports emerging from Egypt have reignited one of the most persistent and emotionally charged transfer sagas in modern football. For years, Salah has not only been the beating heart of Liverpool's attack, but also a symbol of the club's resurgence under Jurgen Klopp. Goals, records, unforgettable European nights. His legacy at Anfield is already secured. Yet, as the current season edges toward its decisive phase, a new wave of speculation has cast a long shadow over what comes next. Reports originating from Salah's homeland suggest that conversations regarding his future have intensified behind the scenes. While Liverpool have remained publicly composed, sources indicate that uncertainty lingers, not just over contract terms, but over the direction of the club itself in a post-Klopp era. This is not the first time Salah's future has been questioned. In previous summers, lucrative offers from the Saudi Pro League tested Liverpool's resolve. Clubs backed by enormous financial power were prepared to shatter transfer records to secure one of the Premier League's greatest ever forwards. Liverpool stood firm then, resisting the temptation to cash in on their talisman. But the situation now feels different. Salah is no longer just the unstoppable winger who arrived from Roma in 2017. He is a senior figure, a leader, and a player who must now weigh legacy against opportunity. At 32, decisions made in the coming months could define the final chapter of his elite career. From a footballing perspective, his importance to Liverpool remains undeniable. Even amid tactical evolution and squad transition, Salah continues to deliver goals, assists, decisive moments. His output refuses to decline. Yet, football is rarely just about numbers. It is about timing, ambition, and the delicate balance between continuity and change. Liverpool themselves are entering a period of transformation. With Klopp's departure confirmed, the club is preparing for a new era under fresh leadership. That transition inevitably raises questions for players who have thrived under Klopp's system. Will the next manager build around Salah, or will they seek to reshape the attack entirely? These are not abstract concerns. They are central to Salah's decision-making process. There is also the external pull, one that cannot be ignored. The Saudi Pro League remains interested, with clubs continuing to monitor Salah's situation closely. The financial packages on offer are staggering, capable of redefining not only a player's career but also their life beyond football. However, sources close to the player suggest that Salah's motivations are not purely financial. Legacy matters. Competing at the highest level matters. The desire to remain among Europe's elite is a powerful force, one that has defined his career trajectory thus far. That is what makes this situation so finely balanced. Liverpool supporters, meanwhile, find themselves caught between hope and anxiety. For many, Salah is irreplaceable, not just because of his goals, but because of what he represents. He is a link to the club's most successful modern era, a player who delivered Premier League glory and Champions League triumph. Replacing him would not simply be a tactical challenge, it would be an emotional one. Inside the club, contingency planning is almost certainly underway. Modern football clubs do not wait for decisions. They prepare for every possible outcome. Potential replacements, long-term targets, and tactical adjustments are likely already being discussed at the highest level. But replacing Salah is easier said than done. Players capable of matching his consistency, durability, and big game impact are exceedingly rare. Even identifying a successor is a daunting task, let alone securing one in an increasingly competitive transfer market. There is also the question of timing. If Salah were to leave, this summer represents perhaps the final opportunity for Liverpool to command a significant transfer fee. Allowing him to run down his contract would risk losing a generational player without adequate compensation. These are the difficult decisions that define football clubs at the highest level. For Salah, the coming weeks could be decisive. Conversations with club officials, discussions with advisors, and reflections on personal ambition will all play a role in shaping his next move. Every factor from squad competitiveness to managerial vision will be weighed carefully. And while speculation continues to swirl, one thing remains certain: whatever decision is made will send shockwaves across the football world. If Salah stays, it signals continuity, a commitment to maintaining Liverpool's competitive edge during a period of transition. If he leaves, it marks the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter, both for the player and the club. For now, uncertainty reigns. Anfield waits, watching and hoping, as one of its greatest ever players stands at a crossroads. Florian Wirtz breaks silence as Liverpool transfer dream takes shape in modern football. There are moments when talent alone is not enough, when resilience, mental strength, and the ability to overcome adversity define a player's journey more than any statistic ever could. For Florian Wirtz, that moment came not on the pitch, but in the long and grueling months spent away from it. Now, as the Bayer Leverkusen star opens up about the darkest chapter of his young career, his words are resonating far beyond Germany, echoing all the way to Anfield, where Liverpool continue to monitor one of Europe's most exciting attacking midfielders. Wirtz's story is no longer just about promise, it is about proof. The German international had already established himself as one of the Bundesliga's brightest talents before disaster struck. A devastating anterior cruciate ligament injury halted his meteoric rise, forcing him into a battle that has ended the careers of many before him. For a player whose game relies on agility, vision, and sharp movement between the lines, the road back was anything but guaranteed. And yet Wirtz did not just return, he evolved. Speaking candidly about his recovery, Wirtz revealed the mental toll of the process, describing how he had to overcome not only the physical limitations, but also the psychological barriers that come with such a serious injury. Doubt, frustration, and the fear of not returning to his previous level. These are the unseen opponents every injured player must face. For Liverpool, those words carry weight, because what they are looking at is no longer just a technically gifted playmaker. They are looking at a player who has demonstrated the kind of mentality required to succeed at the very highest level, the kind of mentality that defined the greatest sides under Jurgen Klopp, and perhaps the kind of mentality that will be essential in the next era of the club. Liverpool's interest in Wirtz is not new. The club has been tracking his development for several seasons, aware of his unique ability to dictate tempo, unlock defences and operate in tight spaces. At Bayer Leverkusen, he has become the creative heartbeat of a team that has redefined itself as one of Europe's most dynamic attacking units. His numbers tell part of the story: goals, assists, key passes, but they do not capture the full picture. Wirtz is a player who sees the game differently. He drifts between lines, manipulates defensive structures, and creates opportunities where none seem to exist. In many ways, he represents the modern evolution of the number 10, a role that has become increasingly fluid in today's game. For Liverpool, this evolution is particularly significant. The club is entering a transitional phase. With Klopp's departure looming, questions are being asked about the tactical direction of the team. Will Liverpool continue with the high-intensity gegenpressing philosophy that defined the Klopp era, or will they adapt, incorporating more possession-based elements into their approach? A player like Wirtz offers flexibility. He is capable of operating as an advanced midfielder, a false winger, or even in a deeper creative role. His intelligence allows him to adapt to different systems, making him an ideal candidate for a team in transition. But signing Wirtz will not be simple. Bayer Leverkusen are under no pressure to sell. The German club is financially stable, competitively ambitious, and fully aware of Wirtz's value. Any potential transfer would require a significant financial commitment, one that reflects both his current ability and his immense potential. And then there is the competition. Liverpool are not the only club monitoring Wirtz. Europe's elite are watching closely, ready to move if the opportunity arises. Clubs from the Premier League, La Liga and beyond recognise that players of this calibre do not become available often. Which brings us back to Wirtz himself, because ultimately the decision will be his. Having fought his way back from injury, he now finds himself at a crossroads. Stay at Leverkusen and continue to develop in a familiar environment, or take the next step and test himself at one of the world's biggest clubs. It is a decision that will shape the trajectory of his career. From Liverpool's perspective, the appeal is clear. Wirtz represents the future, a player who can bridge the gap between eras, bringing creativity, intelligence and resilience to a squad that is evolving. He is not a direct replacement for any one player. Instead, he is a foundational piece, someone around whom a new system could be built. Fans, meanwhile, are already imagining the possibilities. The idea of Wirtz operating alongside Liverpool's existing attacking talent is an enticing one. His ability to link play, create chances and contribute goals could add a new dimension to the team's offensive structure. But there is also an emotional element to this story. Football is a game of narratives, and Wirtz's journey from prodigy to injury setback to triumphant return is one that resonates deeply. It is the kind of story that fans connect with, the kind that transforms a player from a signing into a symbol. At Anfield, such stories matter. They always have. As the summer transfer window approaches, speculation will intensify, reports will emerge, negotiations will be discussed, and the future of one of Europe's brightest talents will be debated across the footballing world. For now, though, Wirtz remains focused on the present, on continuing his development, on helping Bayer Leverkusen achieve their ambitions, and on proving week after week that he has truly overcome the challenges that once threatened to derail his career. Liverpool, watching from afar, will be taking note, because in Florian Wirtz, they may see more than just a transfer target. They may see the future of their midfield. And perhaps the beginning of a new era at Anfield. Fabrizio Romano drops bombshell as Liverpool close in on almost done transfer agreement. In the world of modern football transfers, there are few voices more trusted, more followed, and more capable of sending shockwaves across the global game than Fabrizio Romano. So when the Italian insider delivers an update, especially one containing the words almost done, the entire footballing landscape takes notice, and now Liverpool find themselves at the very centre of that storm. According to Romano's latest update, the Merseyside club are rapidly advancing toward the completion of a deal that could become one of the defining moves of their upcoming transfer window. While details continue to emerge, the tone of the update itself is what has captured attention. This is no longer a speculative link or early-stage interest. This is a transfer moving decisively toward completion. For Liverpool supporters, it is a moment of anticipation. For rivals, it is a warning, because when Liverpool act with this level of intent, it usually signals something significant. The club is entering a new era. With the departure of Jurgen Klopp marking the end of one of the most successful periods in its modern history, Liverpool are now tasked with rebuilding, not from weakness, but from a position of strength. And that distinction matters. This is not a club scrambling to fix problems. This is a club preparing to evolve, to adapt, and to remain at the very top of European football. Every transfer decision made in this window will carry weight, shaping not only the immediate future, but the long-term identity of the team. That is why Romano's words resonate so strongly. Almost done suggests clarity. It suggests alignment between club, player, and representatives. It suggests that the complexities that often derail transfers, financial disagreements, contractual details, competing interests, have largely been resolved. In other words, it suggests inevitability. While the identity of the player continues to generate debate among fans and analysts, what is clear is the profile Liverpool are targeting. This is not a short-term fix or a squad filler. This is a strategic signing, someone identified as a key piece in the club's next phase. The recruitment strategy at Liverpool has long been admired across the footballing world. Built on data-driven analysis, tactical fit, and long-term planning, it has delivered players who not only perform but thrive within the system. From undervalued talents to established stars, Liverpool have consistently demonstrated an ability to make the right call at the right time. This deal, it appears, is no different. Behind the scenes, the club's recruitment team has been working tirelessly, identifying targets, negotiating terms, and ensuring that every aspect of the deal aligns with the club's vision. In modern football, transfers are rarely straightforward. They are complex operations involving multiple stakeholders, each with their own priorities and expectations. To reach the stage described by Romano is, in itself, a significant achievement. But what does this mean for the squad? That is where the intrigue deepens. Liverpool's current team is already packed with quality. Yet, like any elite side, it requires constant evolution. Opponents adapt, tactics shift, and the demands of competing at the highest level continue to increase. Standing still is not an option. This incoming signing is expected to address a specific need within the squad, whether that be adding creativity, strengthening defensive solidity, or injecting fresh energy into key areas of the pitch. The exact role will become clearer once the deal is officially completed, but the intent is unmistakable. This is about improvement. There is also the psychological impact to consider. When a club like Liverpool moves decisively in the transfer market, it sends a message not just to fans but to players within the squad. It reinforces ambition. It signals that the club is not content with past success but is actively pursuing future glory. For players, this can be a powerful motivator. Competition for places increases. Standards rise. The collective focus sharpens. And for supporters, it provides reassurance. The uncertainty that often accompanies periods of transition is replaced by excitement, by belief that the club is moving in the right direction. Transfers are not just about players, they are about momentum, about narrative, about shaping the story of a season before a ball has even been kicked. Romano's update has done exactly that. Of course, until the deal is officially announced, nothing is guaranteed. Football transfers are unpredictable, and even the most advanced negotiations can encounter unexpected obstacles. Medicals, final contract details, and administrative processes all remain to be completed, but the language used, almost done, leaves little room for doubt. Liverpool are closing in. The coming days could prove decisive. Announcements may follow, unveiling a player who could play a central role in the club's next chapter. Fans will watch closely, refreshing feeds, analysing updates, and waiting for the moment when speculation turns into confirmation. And when it does, it will not just be another transfer. It will be a statement that Liverpool are ready for what comes next. A statement that the club's ambition remains undiminished. A statement that, even in the face of change, the pursuit of excellence continues. For now, all eyes remain on the situation as it develops. Because when Fabrizio Romano speaks, the football world listens. And right now, his message is clear. Liverpool are on the verge of something big. Injury nightmare unfolds as Liverpool face crisis with 9 players at risk of missing key clashes as the business end of the season approaches. When every match carries the weight of a final and every point can define success or failure, Liverpool find themselves confronting a challenge that has derailed even the strongest of teams in the past, an escalating injury crisis that threatens to disrupt momentum at the worst possible time. Reports now suggest that as many as 9 first-team players could be at risk of missing upcoming fixtures, casting a shadow over the club's ambitions and forcing difficult decisions behind the scenes. For a squad competing on multiple fronts, the timing could hardly be more concerning. For Jurgen Klopp, who has built his managerial reputation on resilience, adaptability and unity, this is a test that goes beyond tactics. It is a test of depth, of character, and of the ability to navigate adversity without losing sight of the ultimate objective. Liverpool's season has been defined by intensity. High-pressing, relentless attacking movement and the physical demands of competing in domestic and European competitions have pushed the squad to its limits. It is a style that has brought success, but it also comes with risks. And now those risks appear to be materialising. The list of potentially unavailable players includes key figures across multiple areas of the pitch. Defensive stability, midfield control, attacking fluency. Each of these pillars could be weakened, forcing Klopp and his staff to rethink their approach at a critical juncture. Injuries are not new to Liverpool. Over the years, the club has endured periods where squad depth was stretched to its absolute limit. From defensive crises that saw midfielders deployed at centre-back to attacking shortages that required tactical reinvention, Klopp's Liverpool has consistently found ways to adapt. But every crisis is different. What makes this situation particularly challenging is the sheer number of players involved and the importance of the fixtures ahead. These are not routine matches, they are games that could determine league standings, European qualification and silverware ambitions. In such moments, squad rotation becomes both a necessity and a gamble. Players who have spent much of the season on the fringes may now be called upon to step into the spotlight. Young talents from the academy could be thrust into high-pressure situations, asked to perform on stages where experience often proves decisive. For some, it will be an opportunity, a chance to prove their worth, to make a lasting impression and to stake a claim for a more prominent role in the future. For others, it will be a test of readiness. Klopp has always emphasised the importance of collective strength. His philosophy is built on the idea that every player, regardless of their position in the squad hierarchy, has a role to play. In times like these, that philosophy is put into practice. But even the most cohesive squads have limits. The potential absence of multiple key players raises questions about tactical flexibility. Will Liverpool maintain their high-intensity approach, or will they adopt a more controlled style to manage physical demands? Will formations be adjusted to compensate for missing personnel? These are the decisions that define managers at the highest level. There is also the psychological dimension to consider. Injuries can disrupt rhythm, break momentum and create uncertainty within a team. Players returning from injury must regain match fitness and confidence, while those stepping in must adapt quickly to new responsibilities. Maintaining morale becomes crucial. Klopp's leadership will be central to navigating this period. His ability to motivate, to instill belief, and to create a sense of unity has been a hallmark of his tenure at Liverpool. In moments of adversity, those qualities become even more important. Fans too have a role to play. Anfield has long been known as a fortress, not just because of the team on the pitch, but because of the support that surrounds them. In challenging times, that support can make the difference, lifting players and creating an environment where belief thrives. But belief alone is not enough. Practical solutions must be found. The medical team will be working tirelessly to manage player recovery, assessing fitness levels, and determining who can return and when. Every decision will be carefully considered, balancing the need for immediate results with the long-term health of the players. Rushing players back too soon carries risks. Waiting too long could cost valuable points. It is a delicate balance. There is also the broader context of Liverpool's season to consider. The club is not just dealing with injuries, it is navigating a period of transition with changes in leadership and evolving tactical approaches. Stability in such times becomes even more valuable. And yet, football rarely offers stability when it is most needed. Instead, it presents challenges. This injury crisis is one such challenge. A moment that will test the depth, resilience and adaptability of the entire club. How Liverpool respond could define not only their season, but also the narrative surrounding this transitional period. Will they falter under the weight of absences, or will they rise, demonstrating the kind of collective strength that has become synonymous with Klopp's tenure? History suggests the latter should not be underestimated. Liverpool have, time and again, turned adversity into opportunity. Players have stepped up, systems have evolved, and the team has found ways to compete against the odds. This, however, may be one of their toughest tests yet. As the fixtures approach and team selections are finalised, the full impact of the injury situation will become clearer. For now, uncertainty remains, accompanied by a sense of urgency. Every training session, every fitness update, every tactical adjustment carries significance. Because in football, as in life, it is often in the most difficult moments that true character is revealed. For Liverpool, that moment has arrived, and the response will define everything. Liverpool's step-up midfield rebuild, with Adam Wharton as key target. Liverpool FC are actively shaping a new era in midfield as the club moves beyond the long-term influence of Jurgen Klopp. The focus is no longer on short-term solutions, but on building a sustainable, modern and tactically balanced midfield for the future. At the centre of this evolving plan is Adam Wharton, a young midfielder who has quickly gained attention in English football for his maturity, composure and intelligence on the ball. Despite being early in his top-flight career, Wharton has already shown qualities typically associated with far more experienced players. Liverpool's midfield identity is shifting, while the famous high-intensity pressing style still remains a core part of their philosophy. The modern game now demands more control in possession, better tempo management, and stronger build-up play from deep areas. Wharton fits this profile perfectly as a deep-lying playmaker who can dictate rhythm, break lines with passing, and remain calm under pressure. One of his standout traits is decision-making. He rarely forces play, instead choosing simple but effective passes that keep his team structured and moving forward. This level of tactical awareness is exactly what Liverpool are looking to add as they continue their squad evolution. However, any potential move will not be straightforward. Competition for young English talents is intense across the Premier League, and clubs are increasingly protective of their rising stars. Financial demands, development plans and long-term squad strategy will all play a role in determining whether a deal is possible. Timing is also a key factor. Liverpool must decide whether Wharton is ready to step into a high-pressure environment at Anfield immediately, or whether further development at his current club would be more beneficial before a big transfer. Still, the interest itself highlights Liverpool's clear direction. The club is carefully identifying players who not only improve the current squad but also define its future identity. Wharton represents exactly that type of signing. Young, intelligent and built for long-term success. As the transfer window approaches, speculation will continue to grow. But one thing is already clear, Liverpool are planning ahead with purpose and Adam Wharton is firmly on their radar as a potential cornerstone of the next midfield era.